On this channel, I've covered a few superhuman-like players, including Ohio State's Jack Sawyer and Georgia's Jordan Davis. In today's video, we're going to cover another guy. He is an absolute freak of nature for the Buckeyes, has developed into a star for them, and will likely be a first-round pick here in a couple of months. I want to introduce you to who he is, his story from wanting to be an NBA player to an NFL player, and why he is such a big deal. But right before we get into it, nearly 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so quickly be sure to do that, as I'd really appreciate it and it will help the channel. Also, don't forget to hit that like button for the algorithm, turn on post notifications so you never miss my upload, and leave a suggestion for what player or topic I could do next. Now, let's get started. So you're probably wondering who today's freak of nature is, and that is none other than Ohio State offensive lineman Dawand Jones. But in order to understand how he's such a big deal, we first need to go back in time. I first want to start today's video out with a quote from senior offensive lineman Thayer Munford. Quote, "I'm still not used to seeing a 380-pound person move as fast as he does. It's kind of scary." This dude is an absolute freak, but going back in time, he originally wanted to play a completely different sport. He grew up in Indiana, which is the basketball state, and because of that, he slept with a basketball each and every night and dreamed of one day going up and down the court in the NBA. His mother said, quote, "He used to walk around the house and say, 'I hope when I grow up I'll be a tall basketball player.' I'd be like, 'Oh my gosh, I hope you don't.' And before we knew it, at 12 years old, he was 6 feet tall." He played both football and basketball throughout high school, but basketball was obviously his love. He grew up in Indianapolis and played for Ben Davis High School, which is an area I'm from, and it's one of the better high schools in the state. He averaged 17 points and 9 rebounds as they ended up being the Class 4A state runner-up, and because of that, he got numerous scholarship offers. He was also named to the prestigious Indiana All-Star team, which is a really big deal in this state. The problem was, though, his offers to schools such as Ball State and Kent State were kind of Jones' basketball ceiling. He was pushing 380 pounds at the time, and college coaches were kind of skeptical if he could adapt to their pace. Football would become his future. He had this to say, quote, "I just had to take my business from basketball and push it to football and make that dream the same dream. I used to say I wanted the NBA, so I just switched that to the NFL. All of that has changed. I just let it go out the window." In terms of his football career, he did play youth football, and when he was in 8th grade and a high school freshman, his heart was not in the game, but he was always the anchor of the offensive line because of his sheer size. He actually quit football as a high school sophomore, but did pick it up as a junior. College teams were skeptical to recruit and offer him because of his love for basketball, and they felt his heart wasn't in it. Things would change though right at the start of the senior basketball season, as Ben Davis's head coach Jason Simmons had been telling every coach who came through that this guy could be a first-round NFL draft pick if he was properly developed. Eventually, some schools started to believe him. His first high major offer came from Mississippi State on Halloween night, and this was an SEC offer and a big deal for Dawand. And he eventually chose the Buckeyes over offers from Florida, Penn State, Michigan, and Auburn. Dawand said, quote, "I knew Ohio State was my home, and I think it was the brotherhood that I felt when I went on my official visit, and I just really liked it." Craziest part is that this happened on signing day, and originally he was going to be part of a different signing day. Dawand said, quote, "I was getting ready to commit to Kent State for basketball at one point. My coaches told me to wait the season out for football, and I said, okay, coach, I got you." So yeah, the 3-star offensive lineman ended up committing to the Buckeyes, and he was definitely not the biggest name in Ohio State's recruiting class. The coaching staff saw something in him. Ohio State's offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, and quarterbacks coach Ryan Day all came to Ben Davis at one point during the season and read how serious he was about football. That is what ended up selling them on Dawand and his pure potential. The dude was an absolute mountain. When he arrived at Ohio State, he actually asked the Ohio State coaching staff if he could pursue some role with the Buckeyes basketball team. He believed he could hang with anyone in the sport and play at a Big Ten level. Unfortunately though, the time commitment necessary for football always made that dream unrealistic. At this point, he wasn't really playing. He actually kept pursuing that basketball dream for quite a while, but then one thing really stuck out to him which made him switch. He tried to practice with his former Ben Davis team when he went back home, and his high school coach told him this. Quote, "I said, hey man, I'm not fielding phone calls from Urban Meyer and any other Ohio State coaching staff because you rolled an ankle." This ended up waking up Dawand, and he decided to fully focus on football, give up that basketball dream, and try to make an impact, as 2 starting spots on the offensive line would actually open up. Wyatt Davis and Josh Myers both left for the NFL, and this offered an opportunity for Dawand. Ohio State's offensive line coach actually had this to say about it all. Quote, that was the issue, getting him to buy into the fact that he wasn't a basketball player anymore. You're a football player, I said. Your mentality has to change. What you do has to change. It took some time because he loved basketball so much, but he was finally convinced during the spring. I'm convinced now he loves football, wants to improve, he wants to do things, and he has spent so much extra time in the summer doing it, and when camp started out, he was by far the best guy in camp. So what ended up happening for Dawand from here? Well, Nicolas Petit-Ferrer came off a breakout season at right tackle, but they flipped him to the other side of the line. Thyre Munford was a 3-year starter at left tackle, and he went to left guard. Everyone was basically moving around so Dawand could get on the line, and that is how special and how massive this dude was. Apparently, fighting for that starting spot on the offensive line really took his mindset to a new level, and he is a different player than he has ever been in his career. So far in 2021, he has started every game, is one of the highest graded linemen in the country, and is expected to be a first-round pick come 2022. This is pretty insane, as at one point he was that basketball player, and I don't think in his wildest dreams he expected this to happen. I'm shocked he even played basketball to begin with, as he was 6'8" and over 300 pounds, and I don't know how people around him did not tell him to focus on football from the beginning. It goes to show you just how much basketball means to people and players in the state of Indiana, and I mean, to be fair, he did have offers from those schools. Dawand is an absolute freak of nature. He was a great story coming up from my area, and I'm really pumped to see what he is going to do in the NFL. In terms of how Ohio State has done this year so far, Dawand has been a huge part in the offense's success. Redshirt freshman CJ Stroud has taken over at quarterback, and he has quickly blossomed into one of the best players in the country. True freshman Travion Henderson has become a superstar at the running back spot, and he looks like he could go down as one of the best Ohio State backs ever. In terms of the wide receivers, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Garrett Wilson, and Chris Olave have all been extremely amazing this year, and a lot of that is because of how good this offensive line has been, anchored by Dawand Jones. In terms of his NFL potential, according to Pro Football Focus, he is the second highest graded run blocking tackle in the country, and I've been seeing more and more blog posts and websites talking about how he could legitimately be a first round pick. I mean, at 6'8", starting for one of the best schools in the country, I don't really know how he wouldn't, but he needs to have a good combine, finish the year strong, stay healthy, and keep working towards his goals. In one of the articles I actually read, he said that he wanted to be the next Orlando Pace, and while I don't think he's going to go number 1 overall like Pace did, Dawand's going to have a long and great NFL career. What do you guys think, though? If you're an Ohio State fan, what do you think of Dawand Jones? Who is another freak of nature I could take a look at in my next video? And who is your favorite prospect for the 2022 NFL Draft? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section, smash that like button if you want to support today's video, subscribe if you're new, and check out all my other videos on the end screen. I hope to see you guys again soon, but until next time, peace.